And welcome everyone to the PCS Like a Pro show. I'm your host, Megan Harless, as always, and we've got a great show for you lined up today about how to help make your PCSing a little bit easier on your end of things. Before we get into that, just want to remind everybody, we've seen a lot of questions lately about claims filing, and especially with our non-temp storage, the NTS shipments and those claims. So typically you would file with either the TSP, you can file that in DPS, or you file with the storage facility. You may have multiple claims because some things the TSP might have picked up might have been damaged by the storage facility, so you need to file that with the storage facility. And then the damage that happens in transit, you'd file with the TSP. Your TSP should be able to provide an inventory, a writer of some sort that shows what was damaged or the condition of things when they picked it up and took it into their possession. You also have the ability to file with the MCO and let them take care of things as well. But keep in mind the MCO pays a depreciated value up front if they accept your claim. So it's always best to try to file with the TSP or the storage facility directly to get FRV up front, and then go to the MCO if there's things that you cannot agree on. So just a little reminder about that process and how that goes. So we're going to dive into today because I'm really excited about it, because this is something I wish I knew about on our last PCS, just because it's such a amazing thing. So welcome to the show, and thank you for joining us, Erin.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having us. We're so excited to get our name out there and let everybody know what we're doing.
Absolutely. And can you just take a minute and just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, for sure. So my name is Erin, and I am the program coordinator for Military No Stress PCS. We are a nonprofit that helps active duty families when they PCS by researching all the questions. A little bit about myself personally. I'm a Navy spouse, almost 20 years, hitting retirement, getting excited for that. We have 4 kids and a dog, and it's just been a crazy 20 years for sure. But I too would have loved to have something like Military No Stress PCS, doing the countless moves we've done. I mean, we all do it. We move and we have to do the research. And what our organization tries to do is take some of those questions that you have to research, schools, neighborhoods, houses, things like that. And we help you. We don't do anything different, right? We go to the spouse groups, we go to Google, we go to friends who are there and things like that. And we have a connection of military relocation professionals that we work with for a variety of different things, particularly if you want to buy or rent a house. We have lots of connections, and they'll help us with little pieces of information about those specific areas as well. And then we go and we narrow it down to the top 4 or 5, 6 different answers, right? Because if you go to Google, that's a great resource. You go to the spouse groups, they're a great resource. And you ask, what's the best school in, Northern Virginia? You're going to get a lot of great answers, but you're going to get, upwards of 20 to 50 or even more, maybe, of single answer questions, but some that are double, like people that have recommending the same school as someone else. But then we take all of that and we cull it down and get it down to a more manageable number. So that way you get your answers, and it's less stressful because you don't have to go through all of that. Let us do that. We want to do that for you guys.
No, absolutely. So can you just walk us through, like, how did Military No Stress PCS, how did it come to be?
So that is a great question, and I love this story. So my boss is Rob Shelley. He's out of Tampa, Florida, and he is a CEO for his wife's real estate company. And a couple years ago, they were working with this family that was military. They moved overseas. They helped them sell their house on the moving overseas part. And then when they came back a couple years later, they reached out to Rob and his wife, Kylene, to buy a house again. And they got to know them, became friends. And then Rob was getting to, as he was getting to know them, he got more into the ins and outs of military moving and realized just how much there is involved in it and wanted to do something to help. And so he created this nonprofit. At the time it wasn't, but it is now, and wanted to just reach out and help. And we've expanded now. We have 2 concierge agents that work with us, and we have 2 fundraising coordinators that work with us, and then myself and Rob. So we've expanded in the year and a half that I've been here to what we're, a pretty big team in my opinion, and we're doing great stuff. We're getting lots of questions from people, and we're really, trying to help as best we can.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. I'm going to go ahead right now and apologize if you guys hear some background noise. My dog is right next to me playing with one of her toys. So we're just going to try to ignore her right now. So this is something like I really wish I knew about before, because you guys kind of like, you really take the stress out of it, all of that, trying to figure out what we need to know about things. So can you walk us through that process of how it works when a family says, hey, I need to use you guys. I need you to, do this research for me. Like, what does that process look like for a spouse?
Yeah, absolutely. So you would go to our website, which is www.militarynostress.pcs.org. Or you can reach out to us on our social media. We have Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. And you just kind of fill out our form, where you're coming from, where you're going, and what you're looking for. And once we get that, our concierge agents take a look at it. And if they need more information on what you're looking for, they will reach out. But a lot of times it's probably about 50-50 people. Some 50% of the people will tell us exactly what they're looking for, and 50% of the people don't. So those people we have to reach out to and say, this is awesome. We're glad you reached out to us. What can we help you with? And so then there's that back and forth. And but with the other 50%, we can go and we can start researching some of the things, especially if it hasn't been a question we've been asked before. But we have, we've had a lot of questions, and a lot of them are very similar. So we have a database that we're building to go and pull answers from that as well.
So what kind of services do you offer?
I mean, we do the PCS, the concierge is our big one. And that encompasses a whole ton of things, right? So you send us your questions about schools, neighborhoods. We do help with housing. That's another big one that we, like I mentioned before, we have the military relocation professionals that are MRP certified. So if you're looking to buy a house or rent a house, we have people in, all over the country that can help you do that. And so then there's that piece of it. But then it's really, we're the concierge agents. We'll answer any question you have to the best of our ability, of course. There are some questions we've gotten where, I like to say it's above our pay grade, and we have to direct you back to your chain of command. Or, sometimes I'll ask my husband, be like, hey, what should I tell? And he ultimately defaults to, that's a chain of command question. But we utilize our spouses as well to, say, hey, what do you think about this question? Where should I send them? And they're geysers of information most of the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can imagine the slew of things that you guys probably get asked. So we know in the research that you guys offer, it's usually a lot of schools and neighborhood research, because that's the things that we mostly care a lot about when trying to figure out and navigate our next location. But is there a limit on what research you guys will do? Like, will you do pet boarding and hair salons and music lessons, or is there kind of like a limit on all of that?
There is no limit. We do partner with an organization called Leave No Paws Behind USA for our pet questions, because that's a very big question. There's lots of questions within that question. And so we have partnered with them. Liz and her team, they're great over there. There's other organizations that do similar stuff, but they are our go-to. So if you send us a pet question, we will say, hey, thanks for contacting us. Here's the Leave No Paws Behind USA, because they are experts at this stuff. We're not. But there is no limit. If you send us a question about, I don't know, I mean, I can't even think of a random question, because every question we've got, it's been, a lot of it has been, what is there to do in, Biloxi, Mississippi, or San Diego, or, things like that. Or we had one come in the other night that they're researching schools in Virginia, and they've got a special needs child. So there's things like that we can do that research, and sometimes reach out to the school liaison officers and ask them the questions, or even give the person who's asking for the information that point of contact as well, to say, here, in case you didn't know about the school liaison officers, this is supposed to be their job. So here, reach out to them. They are the experts in this. And then we can, also fill in some of the blanks as well with just general research too.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned your partnership with Leave No Pause Behind USA. We've had them on our show previously. They are phenomenal people. And for those of you watching who don't know, they were the organization that spearheaded getting the change in the NDAA to allow potential reimbursement for pet expenses during
which
a
is huge.
PCS, which is absolutely huge for so many people and their budgets. So shout out to them. We absolutely love them and the work that they are doing. So I absolutely love hearing that about how you guys also partner with organizations to get the right answers that people need as well.
Absolutely.
So with all of this, do you just provide research for just CONUS locations, or do you also do like OCONUS research as well?
That is also a great question. And yes, we do OCONUS as well. We have had a Facebook presence for OCONUS pages so that people know we have that. Those are kind of going away. We're kind of culling everything into one location there. But if you are heading overseas or coming back from overseas, we got you. We will. I am a member of so many different overseas groups now, just because I want to go there and I want to be able to search in the groups and find the answers. But I've learned a lot about Camp Humphreys. That's a big one.
Yes, I just am that now we just PCS this summer, and so now I'm just like, we should PCS again. I should just do all the research. My husband, I know if he's watching, is probably just like, can we stay put for a moment? Like, we are barely unpacked from this last one. Hold your horses here. No, I just really love what it is that you guys do. So in this process of, we get our orders, we know we're PCSing. When should a family be contacting you to start utilizing your services and start that research process?
I mean, ultimately, they could reach out to us anytime. If you even got verbal orders and you just want to kind of get a feel for the area, that's totally fine. If you got hard orders, that's great too. Obviously that's a little more solid than the verbals, or even just like talking about places. If you're writing up your dream sheet and you want to research more into that, yeah, give us a shout. We will help you with anything PCS moving related. And another thing too, we want to kind of stress is that even after you move, if you got to your new place and you're set up and you're unboxed and you have kids and they're off to school and the spouse is off to work, and maybe you're still struggling for some kind of connection piece or community resources, give us a shout for that too. We'll be more than happy to help you try to get connected, because that's a big piece of the puzzle too, right? Like, we move so often as spouses and it's hard to get connected. Like, it's just, there's been some duty stations where I couldn't wait to PCS again because I just, for some reason, had trouble getting connected in that spot. And I was like, nope, we're done. Let's go.
Yes, and I think we've all kind of had that place where it's just like, we'd rather not go back, like somewhere else, like even Army side, then Fort Polk and Fort Irwin surely have to be better than that kind of deal. But I love that people can still reach out and utilize your services even after they've arrived and settled in, if they're still looking for things and they're just not sure where to go for all of that. So I think that's absolutely huge. And we talk about that dream sheet. Those of you who follow Ashley Guttermith, the military spouse comedian, recently had a post about it. And it was just like, the non-wish list. Like, we have our high hopes in this list. And then the military is just like, sorry, y'all are getting needs of what we need. And like, I know you wanted to go to Hawaii and Germany, but how does like the middle of the desert and unaccompanied orders sound?
That happened to us a couple of years ago. It was a last minute thing because my husband's job got deleted. And so they had to find a place for us. And they were like, either San Diego or Italy. And we're like, how about San Diego? Because we had not been there. And they're like, how about Italy? And we're like, how about San Diego? Because we just, and they're like, nope, Italy. And I'm like, okay. And it was great. I loved Italy. We lived there for 2 years. It was fantastic. Made some really good friends and connections and learned a lot. But it was one of those situations where we're like, oh, well, I guess that works. We'll do what you tell us, I suppose.
Yes, we've been the good recipients of having orders and then having orders rescinded and then ending up in a random place that wasn't even on our radar. So I mean, it's fun. Military life is fun.
So we'll just keep telling ourselves that.
It's fun. We enjoy things. We enjoy surprises. It's all good.
Yes, it's fine.
So we talked about a lot of things that you guys offer today. Is there anything else that military families should know that we haven't already discussed?
So I did want to put in a plug. We're having a contest coming up. So April is the month of the military child. And so we wanted to do something to honor and recognize them. And so sometime in April, we'll launch this, but I just want to kind of give you guys a sneak peek on it because, and the kids may not be delighted about, we're having an essay contest, but we have some really cool prizes for it. So maybe they will be excited once they read about it. But yeah, we're doing that. And it's really just, essays for basically, what I love about being a military child, or for some of the older kids, like advice you would give to a younger military child. So we're excited to be getting that, those details lined up, and we're going to launch that in March. So yeah, that's our upcoming project we're working on right now.
No, I love that. And any chance to make my kids like work on their writing skills, I'm like, we're doing it.
Right.
So when that comes
that's what
out,
we said.
we will be sharing it on our page and with everyone, and we'll get the links dropped into this comment as well, into the comments of this show as well, so people can go back and easily reference it. But no, I'm really, really excited about that. Where can others find you guys at when they say, hey, I need to utilize this service? Where can they go and find you at?
So yeah, we have our website, which is basically our name, .org. Again, we're pretty active on Facebook. We use our main page. We also put out different kinds of resources and share all kinds of things there too. So you can find us there. Instagram, we're sort of dabbling in TikTok. We haven't gotten there yet, but maybe someday we'll be there. And then LinkedIn too, or you can just send us an email, info@militarynostress.pcs.org. We're all over the place, so you can find us almost anywhere. Carrier pigeon, maybe, if you wanted.
No, I love it. And I'll tell you, TikTok, I don't know about. I've tried, I've attempted, and I'm like, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I think that's enough for me and my skill set.
I hear that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love when I see a TikTok shared as a reel on Facebook. I'm like, that's hilarious.
Right.
That is so not me.
Right.
But yes, no, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and joining us and sharing the amazingness that is Military No Stress PCS.
Yes, thank you so much for having us too. This has been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody else watching, thank you for taking time out of your day and joining us as well. Join us again next week. We're going to be talking with the restoration company about what you need to know when your shipment shows up infested with either mold or bugs or other things. We're going to break that down into how that goes, because every year we see a lot of those issues and we get a lot of those questions. So we're just going to give you all the answers straight from the experts. So be sure to join us then. Until then, if you are in the middle of a PCS, you got questions, issues, comments, anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're happy to help as much as we can or direct you to the guidance, research, regulation, or office that you need to contact to be able to help you through that issue. And until next week, y'all remember, take care of each other.